Morning, Bill here with the Metals Minute. Today is Monday, April 11th, 2022. Well, it's another great morning and a great weekend for the metals. All four of the precious metals are up markedly today. We have gold less than $30 from 2000 the last time I looked. Silver's up as well, and platinum and palladium. And I'll tell you, I've been somewhat down on palladium just because of the last couple of years run that it had, and I felt like, people should consider taking profit from there. But in the current situation, I did not foresee Russia, this conflict with Russia. And so that is when they produce nearly half of all the palladium in the world, that's somewhat lit a fire under palladium as well. So who knows where this will go. So I'm removing that recommendation to not consider palladium for now, because given the situation we're in, let's put that back in where there's good potential for palladium to do well also. So let's talk about what else is happening. Well, the foreign minister for Russia, Lavrov, he's recently come out and said, look, our whole purpose for this operation is not necessarily to take Ukrainian territory as much as it is to defeat the unipolar system of finance and influence in the world. Mainly referring to the United States and the dominance of the U.S. dollar. So this is a very real conflict economically. And so in the same way that we, years ago, some of you may not have been around when this was going on, but 40, 50, 60 years ago, there used to be nuclear drills where children would prepare for a possible nuclear attack, and there would be nuclear shelters, and people would get under desks as if that would prevent any harm, but maybe some a little bit. But in other words, they would prepare for the unthinkable to happen. Well, I propose to you that our threat of war right now is more economic. We may not ever see Russian bombs or bullets in the streets of America, but what we may see is, as this world becomes a more multipolar entity, the reign of the U.S. dollar as the main and sole primary world currency, world reserve currency, may be coming to an end. And therefore, we should protect ourselves, or seek to protect ourselves, in the same way that we used to try to protect ourselves physically. I believe we should try to protect ourselves economically now. And one way of doing that is to allocate a portion of our savings in precious metals. And when we look at the landscape of what else is available out there, we have almost every other sector down and a negative story being told. Bonds are cratering. We've got really the worst performance in bonds for eons of time. Stock market is, there's a lot of issues about the stock market, a lot of issues with shipping, and we see areas of China that are shut down. The largest port in the world, the largest port city, is under lockdown today, and subway traffic is down. So, we know people are not getting to the factories, products are not being manufactured. That's going to affect the entire world economy from what is happening in China right now, as well as here in the United States. And so equities are at risk. Inflation is obviously a concern that's eating into people's budgets, and therefore we're seeing less consumer spending happen. And so the stock market, the bonds are already coming down in a significant way. And real estate is now at risk because with interest rates rising nominally for every 1% mortgage rates go up, 11% has to come off of a sales price of a piece of real estate for the people to be able to afford the same payment. So we've got mortgages in many categories up over 5% now. So real estate is beginning to realize what's happening, and so that's not necessarily a safe place anymore. This makes the case for precious metals, and we have a longer article coming out that discusses each of these things in more detail this week, so I encourage you to check that out. But this is a time when precious metals are on the way up, and we'll have day-to-day fluctuations, but it seems like our time as precious metals savers and investors. So we'll talk to you again soon. We'll have that market wrap up and do the numbers for you on Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good week.